Hello, Dr. Vardaan. Can you hear me?
Hello, great to be
Hello.
here. I can hear you.
It's a pleasure keep you with us. Are you okay with I read your biography and your introduction?
Sure, yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. Vardaan leads quantum solution lead Vardaan leads the solution launchpad at WISER. We are he accelerate enterprise quantum adoption by building strategies, driving joint roadmap and connecting global technology communities. His works bridge theoretical physics applied research and industry deployment, with focus on turning emerging science into measurable impact. Vardan's journey began in theoretical atomic physics, evolving into a career that has delivered more than 17 industries, pilots with Fortune 1500 companies, national labs, and government agencies. He has incubated three startups, built an ecosystem of over 85 partners, and guided organizations in navigating the path from experimentation to real-world quantum advantage. Recognized internationally as a young pioneer in quantum technology under 13 in 2024. He has spoken at leading forums including Q2B, IEEE, Quantum Tech, and the Indo-German Quantum Policy Dialogue. His contributions have earned him a Global Community Choice Award from IBM in 2021 for advancing quantum circuit efficiency and exploring early business use cases in the NISQ era. In addition to his role at WISER, Barton is a member of an Open Quantum Institute at Qiskit Advocate at IBM, an active contributor to the global quantum ecosystem. He has previously held research and teaching roles in the MIT, IIT Delhi, NSUT, and the University of Delhi. His talk, Quantum Computing Careers and Opportunities in LATAM, join Vardaan Sahgal for an inspiring talk on the expanding world of quantum computing in Latin America. Discover how university, startups, and governments are driving ground in quantum technology from computing and sensing to communication, and what skills are most in demand. Vardaan will share insights from WISER and Womanium global quantum programs, which connect leaders from 100 countries with leading research and company, perfect for students and professionals eager to explore career paths and innovation opportunities in the region emerging quantum ecosystem. Welcome again, Vardaan, and let's proceed, please.
Wonderful. That was very lovely. Thanks a lot, Arturo, for such an amazing introduction. Thank you. And while I try to share my screen, I would also like to thank Diana and Braulio for inviting me to this conference. This is amazing. Yeah, so thanks a lot for making this possible. So let me quickly share my screen. Okay, here we go. Okay, yeah, I hope everyone should see my screen now. Yeah, can I get a thumbs up?
Yes, we can see.
Perfect, beautiful. Yeah, great. So today's session for the next 30, 40 minutes or so, we'll be making it very interactive. I don't want to bore all of you off with a very one-sided conversation, so it will be very interactive. Try to make sure that you have your keyboards and your text pads handy. I'll ask a lot of questions. I will expect a lot of answers from all of you. So yeah, let's talk more in this presentation for the next 40 minutes, and hopefully by the end of it, you'll get a little bit of understanding of what all quantum computing is all about, what kind of industry pathways are there for you, how can you get involved, what kind of work we are doing, how can you work with us, and just in general, right? I think that Latin America is moving at a very, very strong pace in quantum computing, and there are a lot of opportunities for all of you present over here to try and contribute towards that. So I'll touch upon that as well at the later half of my talk, right? So let's get me started. I know Arturo already gave a very good introduction for me, so I'll not waste a lot of time over here. I'll quickly skim through this. But the reason I wanted to talk a little bit about me was because my journey in quantum hasn't been very, I would say, traditional, right? I did not complete my PhD. I did not go through a traditional academic track to get to the stage where I am today. And it has been a lot of things I've been exploring over the past many years that ultimately led to quantum today. Right. So I wanted to share a little bit of this with all of you here today, just so you can maybe relate towards it, and maybe you can find a little bit of here and there where you could see where you can contribute towards. Right. So back, I would say 7, 8 years back was when I first started doing quantum. It was in 2018, and just like any young research student, I subscribed to the Nature magazine. Right, it's one of the most popular magazines. A lot of amazing research papers get published over there. And back in 2018, although I wasn't reading all the research papers, I did got myself very, very hooked onto the cover page of one of those magazine editions, right? So in 2018, Google had announced the first claim over quantum supremacy. It's since been, yeah, claimed that it's not true, and there have been many other quantum claims as well. But the funny thing is, in 2018, the cover of that Nature magazine had that golden chandelier, right? Like that beautiful golden chandelier, which we all relate quantum to. And I just got hooked onto it, right? I had all type of questions coming to me that, okay, what does a quantum computer actually mean? And what does it mean to have a quantum supremacy in that? How is it different from my personal laptop and my personal computer, and how can I actually start working on this Google's quantum computer, right? So all those questions just got me hooked into quantum. I started reading about it here and there. I subscribed to some more magazines. I browsed it a little bit on the internet, and in 2020 was my first official introduction to IBM Qiskit, right? And that kind of changed in my entire career. I would say I started working in a lot of hackathons, participated in challenges. It was a slow journey because obviously I wasn't following a traditional path. So it was more about participating in different challenges and just putting my name out there, right? And just winning these hackathons to prove my capability to a lot of folks in the industry, and that's saying this, yeah, hey, I'm also there. I'm also trying to participate, and because I'm winning these hackathons, maybe I can contribute towards the projects, right? And contributes towards how the industry is moving. So that is where I first got introduced. And 2 years of participating in these challenges ultimately led to my first break in the industry. In 2022, I joined TCS, which, if someone is from India, you might be aware, it's one of the largest tech consulting firms. I worked over there. It was an amazing experience. Went to IIT Delhi, which is again a research institute based in India. Worked as an assistant teaching quantum, and then moved on to do a PhD at Bristol. I had to drop off in between because I found that maybe industry was a better role suited for me. Went to MIT, did some research over there, and currently I'm working at WISER, which is the Washington Institute for STEM Entrepreneurship and Research. We do a lot of amazing things over there, and a few other organizations I've been a part of, right? So that's kind of my quick introduction. And with that, I'll straight away hop on to today's presentation. So we'll start off with a very quick understanding of what quantum is. I'm sure if you're participating in this event, you have had many, many amazing talks, people telling you what a qubit is, what a bit is, what type of quantum algorithms there are. So I won't dive deep into that, right? I just want you to understand that doing quantum computing is very, very different from classical computing, right? And that's the only thing you should be caring about, or understanding about if you ever want to make a career into it, right? Many of your classical challenges do come into quantum, but there are many, many more things that you need to be aware of. So I won't make it technical. Today's talk would be very informal. It would be very non-technical, more about your careers, more about future opportunities. So that's what we'll yeah, focus more on. At the later half of the talk, I'll also talk about more in terms of career opportunities. So after my talk today, right, what are the immediate next steps that you can take? Whether you are a student, whether you are a researcher, whether you are just moving into the industry side of things, whether you are, yeah, maybe you are for more from a academic perspective, right? Maybe you're a teacher, maybe you're a professor, or maybe you're one of the decision makers who is working in this field. What kind of decisions that you can take? What kind of work you can do over here that helps everyone as an ecosystem in Latin America. So we will talk about that as well. So I think with that kind of quick introduction, let us get started. The first thing I want to care about today is a question for all of you: is what is your quantum fish list, right? So again, I would request everyone to open up their chats. I can monitor the chats on my end as well. So the question is very wide open, right? If let's say you have the best quantum computer available today, tomorrow, in the very near future. What are the most pressing problems? What are the challenges? What are the bottlenecks that you believe you would like to solve? Right? Try to relate it with what you're already studying. So maybe a physics student can pick up use cases from their subject domain where you feel that the current compute power is not good enough. Right? So we need better computers. We need quantum computers to help solve them. So that could be a problem. Maybe someone from an industry angle could provide a very different perspective to it. And yeah, I just want the chat to be filled with a lot of beautiful ideas coming from your side, because that would be a very good place to get started over here, right? So I already see one question: solving an NPC problem. Oh yeah, sure, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Mac, for sharing that. I'm sure many more people in the chat would be aware of NPC problems. If not, I would encourage them to reach out to Mac, understand what NPC problems are, what kind of ideas does he have for solving this, and from there we can obviously see if any collaborations are possible. Then I have another answer in the chat. Vishal says that he thinks quantum can solve drug discovery, cyber threat. Yes, spot on, bullseye. These are one of the most, I would say, pressing challenges, and I would say one of the most hot topics in the industry today. Drug discovery, true, because I don't know how much you're aware, but today, for getting a new drug into the market, for getting a new medicine into the market, it takes more than 10 years to go through all the trial and testing periods, to get all the regulations done, and only then do we see a new medicine coming into the market. And what happens if, let's say, a global pandemic like corona hits, or something else which is far more dangerous hits, right? We don't have that kind of liberty or the freedom to spend 10 hours just doing research and then getting a medicine to the market. So we need much, much more faster cycles for delivering drugs, right? So absolutely, drug discovery is a huge thing. Cyber threat, sure. No one wants their information to be leaked, right? So we all want to make sure that any kind of data that we are working on and these huge digital corporations have access to, it's not getting out of hand. It's not going to the profilators of the industry. So we need to make sure that all of our data is safeguarded at all times. And sure, quantum can maybe help over there, right? Any more ideas that you can think of? Feel free to bounce off any ideas over here, right? There are no right or wrong answers. So yeah, one idea which maybe I think of from my experience. So when I was a student, right, I used to study a lot of astrophysics. So it was just a physical fantasy of mine, right? Just looking at stars, exploring astrophysics and stuff like that. So maybe quantum can be useful over there, right? Just a brainstorming idea. Another response I see in the chat: energy level. Yeah, so maybe something to do with quantum mechanics. I think that that is where you're getting in. So quantum mechanics deals with energy levels, with different types of energy states of electrons and other quantum atoms and different kind of materials, different kind of particles. So yeah, sure. To understand quantum phenomena in general, sure, we can use quantum computing. So yeah, keep the answers going on in the chat. But while you are thinking about these kind of different ideas, another thing I would like to suggest is try to bottle these into different kind of vertical. Try to understand what kind of applications fit in with your idea, right? Is it more of an optimization problem? Is it more about simulating something, simulating a physical phenomenon, or simulating a chemistry problem, something which is more fine-tuned towards simulation? Or is it somehow related to machine learning tasks? Because quantum machine learning in itself is a very, very important field today. So, can we fit our ideas, something related with quantum machine learning? Or is it completely something new? That's also totally okay, right? So, I see problems coming in, many body problems, traffic management, climate forecasts. Absolutely, yeah. So all these, try to bottle them in one of these verticals. And if not, try to create a new one, right? No one is stopping you. Today, we need more and more applications from all of you to tell us, okay, this is the problem that you are facing in your current field. And you would like someone to help you with quantum to try and solve this, right? So the ideas would be coming in from application users, from subject matter experts, from domain experts. So this is where I think students can provide the most value, at least in the beginning, because you have fresh minds, you're unbiased, you have a lot of crazy ideas and fun stuff you've been learning about, reading about. So try to think more about this, right? And this could be maybe a homework problem for you. But once you start identifying these are some relevant problems, the next logical question to ask yourself is that Okay, yeah, this is the problem I want to solve. Now, which quantum algorithm do you think is the best suited for this application, right? What should you be using over here? Is it a quantum annealing problem? Should I be focusing my algorithms on that? Or is it more of a variational algorithm, right? Or okay, so variational algorithm is maybe a mix of both classical and quantum algorithms. Or maybe I'm using pure quantum algorithms. So I don't want to work on the classical computes. I want to build a quantum algorithm which is purely running on QPUs, on quantum hardwares. And that is where I see value over here, right? So these are very important questions for you to start thinking about once you get your idea finalized. And I'm telling you all of these things with the idea that after my talk, you would have a clear understanding of what the process is to build your perfect project to get started in the industry. So once you have the idea finalized, the next question is understanding what kind of quantum algorithm do you want to use. And the very next step after that is to understand, okay, my algorithm is finalized now. Now, which hardware does it run on? Because believe me or not, but quantum algorithms and quantum hardware have a very close relationship, right? We need to very carefully understand which algorithm runs the best on which kind of hardware, because that would be a very major decision in your process. Once you have your idea finalized, you identify which algorithm fits in well, and then you also identify which computer or which quantum hardware is the best for you. Because there are different type of quantum modalities, right? Different type of qubit modalities. There's superconducting, there are trap dance, there are photonics, there's neutral atoms, there's diamonds, and many others, right? So it all depends on what kind of algorithm you want to run, what is the best hardware for your application, because there's no one hardware fits all kind of scenario in quantum yet. There's no clear winner. So identifying which hardware is the best for you would be a major challenge, and I would like all of you to start thinking about this. A couple of comments I received in the chat was about using machine learning with quantum for finance portfolios. Oh, yeah, spot on. We're actually working on that as well. It's a very interesting problem. Another one is a comment. So, ability to switch between different modalities and compare and benchmark. That's a very good point. It isn't possible in the perfect scenario yet. It's an ideal condition. We all want that. So today the modalities are very different, the platforms are very different, and to benchmark it across different kind of hardwares is a challenge in itself, right? So there are a lot of benchmarking studies, there are a lot of metrics which we try to make it translatable between different platforms, but it's a hard problem, right? So if you can try and solve that and make some sort of a standard between all the different modalities, which can be compared and benchmarked across results, that would be a huge benefit to the industry. If that is something you can build, that would be very useful. So yeah, if you're working on that, kudos. We all need your support, right? So once you have that figured out, right? You have your idea, you have your problem statement, you have your algorithms and the hardware. The next step is to get started, right? You do not need to wait for anyone. You just need to find a few things. You need to figure out a few steps. Something like, who do you partner with? Who do you work with? What kind of resources do you need? What are your first next steps? And once you have that, just get started, right? Start putting effort into getting your hands dirty. Uh, First of all, collaborate with your friends, with your colleagues. Try to identify what are the skills where you're lacking in. Maybe reach out to your professors, the guides, a lot of industry professionals as well who are very open to collaborations. So try to reach out, try to create that network and just get started on your problem. There's no point waiting because this is a very active research field. If you wait and you do not solve the problem now, someone else will, right? Because there are a lot of people are working very actively in the quantum research space. So I would suggest that if you have a problem, if you have a good idea in mind, definitely get started and start working on that. So to solve this and to give you a good pathway for the next steps, we are working at the Washington Institute for STEM Entrepreneurship and Research. That's WISER. And our goal as a nonprofit based in DC in the US is to build the next generation of scientific leaders, right? We want to help all of you get to the very next stage. We want to strengthen the scientific workforce, not in the US, but overall globally, to make sure that the next talent that is coming up has all the tools they need. They have a clear understanding of what needs to be done, and they can grow quantum at a much accelerated pace. They can fill in the gaps between low TRL academic efforts to very high TRL industry applications. So we want to bridge that research between different organizations. And that is where we work. So if any one of you is curious to learn more about what we do, Feel free to scan the QR on the screen, and you can look up our website. It's thewiser.org. You can also find that in the footer on my screen below. But that's kind of a good introduction to us. And what have been doing? We have been doing a lot in the education space. We have awarded more than $4 million in scholarships towards students. So if you are someone who's interested in pursuing quantum, you can definitely get in touch. We can explore how we can help you out. We have had more than 8,000 scholars from 102 countries gone through our training programs. These are training programs which we organize over the summer. I already see a lot of participants in this room itself, in this Zoom meeting, coming from our program. So that is amazing. Thanks a lot for being here and for connecting with us. We very proudly say that more than 40% of our participations are women. We strongly emphasize that, support that, and we want to make sure that more and more women in STEM are encouraged and motivated enough to pursue this kind of fields. And then we also work with industries. We have had startups incubated. We work with a lot of amazing partners. And this list is continuing to grow. So we want help from all of you to make sure that we grow, but at the same time, the quantum ecosystem in LATAM also grows. Now, I've talked a lot about quantum, right? We talk about quantum is fun. It's amazing. Everyone should join that. We have also created an entire pipeline for all of you to pursue quantum. But just taking a step back and looking at it more from a practical angle, right? I want all of you to understand that this journey is not going to be very easy. It's research. So some questionable reasons why you maybe want to take a step back and not particularly pursue quantum as a career would be that if you think quantum can make you a lot of money very fast, you are in for a troublesome time, right? It's good that you have a long term vision for it, but easy money is not something that we particularly see in research. It's going to be a slow process. So maybe that's not the best initiative or motivation to get you started in quantum. Or maybe you have heard that it's a hot industry. Everyone is talking about quantum. Quantum hype is everywhere. Maybe it's easier to get a job because it's a new industry. It's a caveat in our industry today that we do have a lot of jobs, but we do not have enough skilled people to fill these jobs, right? So, true, there are a lot of jobs, but to get those jobs, we still want to make sure that you have the right skill sets, you're professional enough, you tick all the boxes that are required, and only then you'll get a job, right? So, it's still very high competitive, I would say. It's very amazing, but at the same time, you'll have to work equally hard to get to that stage. And then maybe you just know quantum, you enjoy quantum, you'll get a better sense of it when you start working in the industry, how important it is, how hardworking it is. And if you're just going by the hype that quantum plus crypto plus AI plus blockchain plus something XYZ is future, okay, maybe not, right? Maybe yes, who knows? But try to be as practical as possible. Talk to people who are already working in the industry because that is, I think, the best way you can get a real picture of what kind of quantum careers they are. So just giving you a very, very quick snapshot on what you could expect if you join the quantum industry. I try to create the kind of job opportunities in three strong verticals. The first one being research, second, engineering, and third, totally non-technical, non-quantum stuff, right? So when I talk about research, it's typically working on the qubits itself, trying to model the most perfect qubits, the ideal qubits, working on the hardware, being control researchers, working on error correction, on computer architecture, complexity theories if you're more on the theoretical side, or algorithms research, but overall just research in itself, right? This involves reading papers, doing scientific proofs, doing a lot of experiments and stuff like that. So if you are more into research, ideally with a PhD, the first vertical is where you can immediately start planning your careers in. The second vertical is more about engineering, where you are not particularly fond of reading papers, you're not fond of doing research firsthand, but you're more interested in creating solutions for problems, right? So if someone tells you that, okay, here's a solution, I just want a practical output out of it, you are the best person to make that happen. You can actually get the job done. Then you're one of the quantum engineers we need, right? So the researchers will tell you, okay, this is an ideal quantum system you want to build, but actually building that system is an engineer's job. So we still need a lot of engineers, both on the computer side, on software side, on computer architecture, on the hardware side, FPGAs, microwave engineers. We need a lot of people over here. Right. So quantum engineering is also a very important field where we are hiring a lot these days. And the third vertical is non-quantum stuff, right? And this is very important for me because this is something which is very well, it isn't very well known in the industry. If someone wants to get into quantum, the only way they see is doing a PhD or doing a technical course or doing a diploma in, or maybe a master's in a technical field. But because this field is so new, because there are a lot of startups, there are a lot of non technical jobs as well. So we still need people who can manage communities. We still need people who can design user experiences, business, sales, operations, management stuff, product stuff. We need all of that in a quantum company, right? So even non-technical jobs and roles are very open in this industry today. So I have a very, very important question by Daniel. Thanks a lot, Daniel, for asking this question. This is very relevant to my talk today and also very relevant to the audience that we're catering to today. So the question goes about that WISER has a global reach. We work across continents. How do you envision expanding collaboration with Latin America, particularly countries like Mexico, where student and research communities are growing very fast? I love that. This is amazing. But at the same time, how can we engage with that? And my next half of the presentation would focus entirely on that. So I would request you to just wait 2 minutes and we'll immediately get to that answer, right? So before that, I just wanted to create a little bit of more hype. If we do get in the industry, this is the kind of problems that we end up working with. So one of our projects is with a huge naval laboratory. We are working on some amazing technologies for nuclear propulsion system using quantum over there. So this is the kind of scale that we work on, right? Or maybe if you're not interested in nuclear, you could also work on battery technologies. So a lot of today industries are moving towards EVs, right? Electric vehicles and stuff like that. And for that, we need better batteries. And how do we get better batteries? By doing more efficient chemical simulations, understanding how these batteries are actually working. And how do we get to that stage? Quantum is one of the ways, right? So we have been exploring different kind of work routines with different of our partners in understanding how these chemical reactions can be simulated using quantum computing and ultimately getting to a stage where it can all be applied to the industry. So we need more and more applied research today. And it's just a step by step process, right? You start learning today, you'll get a chance to apply tomorrow. So this is again a quick snapshot of the work that we are doing. The starting from the upper left corner, we have been working on some various optimization routines. Optimization is a very important field that a lot of researchers are working today. The right hand on the screen shows a quantum sensors that our team have been working on to portable and miniaturized quantum sensors, very useful for the industry. And then we've also been working on satellite communication, making that quantum secure. So someone in the chat suggested that we need quantum computing for securing data for future proofing our data needs. And we feel that one of the best ways it could be done would be to just secure the communication between satellites, because a lot of our communication just takes place at that space. So if we can secure our communication at that level, it automatically creates a layer of quantum security on top of all of this stuff. Right. So we have been working on some with amazing researchers and amazing research teams on all of these interesting problems. So yeah, if you get a chance to work with us, or if you're organizing an in-person event, do let us know. We'd be very happy to support you. We have a lot of fun during that time, right? So Quantum is we work a lot. We are like the typical nerds that you might have seen at universities, always hooked onto computers, doing simulations and doing a lot of research and stuff. But when the time comes, we do know how to have fun, right? So we are at different conferences, we party a lot, we have fun, we visit amazing labs, we talk to interesting people, we develop interesting technologies together. So yeah, it's not just about doing research; it's also having an amazing time together during that time, and we make that happen. So if anyone is interested in joining us, working with us, we are more than happy to ping me, or I'm sure you can find my contact information from the organizers after this conference. You can always reach out to me and explore this, right? I'd be very happy to talk to all of you. But to the question which Daniel posted, right? How do we get started with building something long term, which is very interesting in Latin America? And while I was doing a little bit of pre reading, right, I came across two very interesting articles. The first one is a research paper which was recently submitted on Archive as a preprint by Laura. I'm very glad that I came across this paper because this is a very, very important article for anyone who's looking to build this kind of initiatives in Latin America, right? Whether you are a teacher, a professor, someone working at a university level, someone working in research laboratories, you should definitely read this article. It has a lot of interesting insights on first-hand experiences of how they build a community, what kind of challenges, what kind of experiences they had. And I feel that everyone should learn from their mistakes and then just learn from the good feedback that they have shared. The second article was recently a blog post. It was an interview with Claudia. It was taken by the IYQ, the International Year of Quantum Community. And the reason I pull this up is because Claudia is she's amazing, right? If you haven't heard her name, you should definitely search her. Claudia is amazing. She has been in the quantum ecosystem for quite some time now, especially in the Latin America community. She has been doing a lot of translation stuff. She has been volunteering through a lot of committees, a lot of communities, and she has been doing an overall amazing job. And I found this article, a blog post about her, to be really, really touching. And another reason why I wanted to just do a shout out to her was because she was one of our very early students going through the WISER Womanium program. Right, she was a student when I remember first interacting with her. She went through a summer program, and the very next summer she came in as a mentor. She helped us design that course. She helped students solve different kind of problems. She also, I think, volunteered with QWorld and a few other communities. So she has been actively contributing to a lot of these communities, and I would encourage a lot of students to take inspiration from her. Right, she is coming in exactly from where you are at this stage, going through an education program. The next step should be launching your own program. Right, help communities like this one, Qubit Hub, to develop an even larger, even better program the next year around. So start collaborating with people to give back to the society as well. And both these articles helped me a lot in understanding more about the Latin America community. And maybe the next slides are some initiatives where we can start working with all of you to build the future of quantum. So one quick snapshot was I got through when I was reading through this paper, right? That even though there are a lot of researchers from the Latin America community, most of the research papers that are coming out are still concentrated to two major countries, one being Brazil and the other being Mexico, right? It's great. We want even more papers to come out of these countries, but at the same time, we also need other countries to start collaborating with researchers from Brazil, from Mexico, and do a collaborative effort over here, because independent research will only take you to a certain stage. After that, it's all about collaborations, it's about the right connections. So start reaching out. I think Qubit Hub over here provides a wonderful platform where you can reach out to people across borders, try to connect with people with the like-minded values, and get from there, right? So try to get to that stage where you can collaborate with people who are already doing stuff, and from there, I'm sure you can take it forward. So I also did a quick search on what are some interesting groups that are already working in quantum in the Latin America community, right? And some of the institutes which really stood out for me, I just put it over there. I'll describe a little bit about this, but I would encourage all the students to just take a snapshot. And if you're looking for future opportunities, this should be your next step, right? This is the obvious next step for all of you. Just try and reach out to universities which is closer to your home, people you can immediately connect to, you can work with, and from there you can take a research oriented pathway forward, right? So I liked Ventura's really well. It's a center of excellence based in Brazil, and particularly because they took a very standard approach which a lot of countries in Europe and in Asia are also taking, to create a national hub for all industry facing quantum projects, right? It's a very interesting initiative that they came up with this. And I would encourage all others, maybe who are in a similar position, to start working with national hubs for your country to create a common quantum strategy. We have been working on that with different governments as well. But yeah, just create those hubs, right? Because then it would help you to just make all the research collaborative, bring everyone to the same table, make all the decision makers really aware of what kind of future quantum holds, and together you can take this forward, right? Another one I would like to shout out was UNAM, the one in Mexico, reading different kind of educational initiatives. I really liked how they emphasized a lot on Spanish first language outreach, right? So a lot of their programs, if you see, the speakers come and speak in Spanish, they have Spanish first educational materials and a lot of different stuff. So they also do a lot of education based learnings and initiatives over there. Then I also remember Secure Quantum recently started working in Chile, and I am really happy that global companies are now coming to Latin America and they're setting up their bases over there. Similar cases with Kipo Quantum as well, and a few others. And similarly, there was one, I think it was in University de los Andes, where they recently announced having the first quantum compact quantum computer for experiments, right, by SpinQ being installed. So these are fun initiatives, right? Try to make the best benefit of you, especially for students. Try to reach out to these universities, try to find connections over there, and get started. Get learn and grow with your professors, with collaborators, because these are very, very low bars for you, right? You can immediately shoot a cold email after my talk today to one of the professors over there, explain where you're coming from, explain why you are interested in these kind of technologies, and you don't need to wait for someone from around the world to come and tell you that what you need to do, right? These universities are just where you are, so you can already start working with that. So yeah, that's kind of where I wanted all the students to focus on today. But one another point which I came across while reading through that paper I mentioned was that even though students have all the research uh, needs they have, they understand quantum technologies. One of the major challenges that they are facing is not on the research side; it's more on the funding side, right? Funding problems are one of the maximum problems we saw when we took like when we observed the different kind of researchers that are working in this area, right? Um, so with this slide, I would like to actually target the different set of audience which might be over here, or at least the students can take it back to their professors and have a conversation with them on what needs to be done. So we work with a lot of governments, as I mentioned. We work with different kind of organizations, setting up talent pipelines, in creating quantum ecosystems for not just small hubs, but also entire countries at a very, very large scale. And on doing that, the foremost thing I would encourage everyone to do is establish a quantum center of excellence, right? Create a hub where everyone can contribute towards in your entire country. It cannot be a siloed effort. It cannot be that five different universities in your country are working on five different research stuff, right? They do not communicate between each other. It should be a common place because quantum is very broad, right? You cannot expect one university to just succeed and bring home all the credit. It needs to be a national effort. It should be a national endeavor. And I would encourage at least the decision makers to start thinking about this. Make it a point of discussion in your next table meeting, right? Bring this to the board decision makers and everyone. And the goal over there should be to provide shared access to facilities, right? It could be shared access to hardwares, it could be access to compute resources, it could be access to talent, it could be access to training, to incubation, it could be for projects, anything, right? Whatever is missing from different universities, they can share and start working on that. And with this, the outcome would be that we need to fast track any kind of research. Whatever was initially taking 2 3 years to get a good research done, we need to make that pipelines to less than a year. Only then you can start think of competing with the global research powerhouses, right? Because they're already years ahead. And if you just like play catch up, it would be a long, long time before we can ever see some good investments coming in. Uh, the second point is particularly about funding itself. We observe that a lot of funding typically goes to hardware, which on a very trivial level maybe makes sense, right? Like, unless you have a computer, unless you have hardwares in your state, in your country, you cannot always depend on foreign partners, right? So that's very valid. My only point over here would be to also focus on creating talent pipeline itself, because if you don't have talent, you don't have people to work on the hardware, right? That it doesn't make sense to spend millions of dollars on getting the best quantum computer but not spending enough to actually creating the next generation of workforce. So try to invest in talent pipelines, try to have joint PhD or postdoctoral programs with not just the industry, but also academic schools. Try to leverage global programs, try to uh, learn from Europe, right? I think at least the Nordic region and a few European communities are doing an excellent job where not only are they focusing on national missions, they're also focusing on European Erasmus style, collaborative efforts between countries as well. So I think these are all very good lessons we can all adopt, right? The third point I would like to mention over here is about launching pilot programs. Now, pilot programs are or should be led by industries. So you should also start it, especially the decision makers. You should start and loop in industry giants at your countries, right? So it could be on logistics, materials, finance, biotechnology, agriculture, wherever maximum funding is available, right? And try to give them a glimpse of what it is to work in quantum technology. Because once they start understanding it, they would see it from a very, very business angle, right? They'll see that, okay, if I invest X dollars today, and if quantum succeeds in the next 5 years, I can make 5x, 3x, some X investments out of it. right? So if they start seeing it from a business angle, you have a very good angle at least convincing people to start putting money in quantum. And that's the bottom line, right? Once funding starts rolling, you'll immediately see more and more pilot programs, you'll see more application oriented research, and accordingly, the entire research pipeline will also get built up. And finally, was my last point is about fostering international partnerships as much as possible. Connect with people beyond your countries as well. And not just on a student level, but also as researchers, try to create open access platforms, try to encourage funding not only from your own governments, from your own national agencies, but also maybe try to see if there are mutual capacity building organizations in the Europe or in the US or somewhere across the borders where you can tie up and work with hardware or software vendors, create a global workforce. Maybe you work with grant programs across different agencies. So that's all questions, right? You need to try and answer how you can find the best way to work in these scenarios. So, to answer some of the questions I received in the chat, yes, I would encourage if someone is working in this domain, especially from a leadership point of view or decision making point of view, to reach out to us. We as an organization have been involved in a lot of these efforts. We have not only designed and advised on strategic national missions, but also helped them implement on a very, very large scale. And we have already started seeing success across a lot of regions in the US, but also globally in a few other countries as well. So we'd be very happy to see and explore how we can work with you and uh, potentially build a really strong community and a workforce center for quantum, not for Latin America, not just in Latin America, but actually for the entire world, centered in these countries. So let's all work together for that. I see I'm almost creeping up on type, so I'll try to wrap up my presentation over here. So this is kind of the goal for today, right? For students, try to reach out to the universities that you're already familiar with. Try to find the best professors who are already working on this kind of research and try to find a way where you can collaborate with them. And for professors and other decision makers who are in this call today, think long term. It's not just about publishing papers. It's not just about supporting a few PhDs. You really need to start thinking about a national mission which goes on for at least the next 5 to 10 years, because that's the kind of talent pipeline we should be looking at. Students who are still in high schools should start taking up technical degrees tomorrow. They should pursue quantum technologies not just as a fun hobby, but actually start thinking about making a career in it. And accordingly, we can build these kind of pipelines, right? So I still see a lot of promise over here. I'll take a quick minute to do a shout out for our organization as well. If you're ever interested in working with us, we have fellowships, we have other research opportunities. You can easily scan the code. It would redirect to our hiring page. And we are also having a few startups working with us who have spin out of our entire organization. So they are also hiring as well. So at least if you feel that you are ready to be hired, you can apply over here. We'd be very, very happy to receive your applications. But even if you feel that you are still early, right? Maybe you're just students joining in for the first time, take a note of that. Once you're ready, or once you go through this entire program, maybe do a degree or so in quantum, and you feel that you are ready to contribute, hit us back, right? We'll love to hear from all of you. So, with that, I'll wrap up my presentation. It was an honor and a delight to be here today. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Braulio. Thank you, Arturo, for the amazing introduction and for inviting me over here. And with that, I'll wrap up. Thank you once again. And if you ever want to reach me, my email is over here. You could also scan my QR. It would lead you to the LinkedIn. So, with that, I'll wrap up my presentation for today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Vardaan. And we have some questions in the chat. The first respond. The second from Yajit. Your journey from theoretical atomic physics to leading quantum innovation at WISER is truly inspiring. What key skills, means mindset, helped you to bridge and industry?
That's a good question, right? So I would suggest when I started first working in this field, right, it was a broad experience. I started with physics, I dived into astrophysics, I did material science, and a lot of other stuff as well. What immediately found myself attracted to quantum was the fact that while I was working in material science, I found some problems which I wanted to solve faster. And my computer limitations were always hitting, right? So I wanted to solve some chemistry equations, Hamiltonians, and stuff like that. And someone just asked me, right, can we solve it using quantum? And I said, yes, let's explore that together. So that was the hook which took me at that stage. If you're just starting out, I would say the gaps which we still see between academia and industry is a lack of subject knowledge, lack of domain knowledge for the quantum experts, and the opposite, right? People who know their subjects really well, they don't know about quantum. So we need people to bridge that gap in between them. For example, someone who is maybe the best researcher in astrophysics, or someone who's maybe a deep dive in biotechnologies, designing the best drugs in the market and everything, they don't know about quantum. So it's your job to help them understand that this is how quantum technologies work, this is how quantum computing works, and maybe you can help with the translation of the problems to a quantum scenario. So I feel that gap is still there, and we need a lot of more efforts to fill that gap. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, Vardaan. We have another question, a lot of questions. You mentioned how university, startups, and government are driving quantum growth. What successful modems or partnerships have you seen international that could be replicated in Latin America?
Yeah, so I briefly answered this question in the last slide I was in, right? But I'll just double click on that. So I feel that one model which you should definitely look into, or actually two models, one in Asia and the other one in Europe. In Europe, they're not just focusing on creating a quantum ecosystem within a country, but they're actually focusing on the entire European Union. There are a lot of programs which you might easily get on a quick chat GPT prompt would be that many countries are coming together to build quantum capabilities. The Nordic region is actually distributing different tasks between different countries, right? So someone says that, okay, I'll build the chips, I'll build the control systems for that, I'll build the qubits for it, I'll build the software architecture for it. So they're taking responsibilities between themselves and together coming along to build the best quantum system. So I think these kind of strategies would work really well, especially when the funding is limited and you can be clever with how you want to direct your funding towards that, right? So that would be my one suggestion over here. The other one would be some inspirations that we can take from countries in Asia who are doing similar stuff, right? So countries like Singapore, Australia, even though they are very, very small, they have done an amazing, amazing job in getting to that stage where they have global capabilities in quantum today, right? So what they did right was that they started early on. They immediately identified they were able to convince their leadership, their governments to invest heavily in quantum, and once the funding starts flowing, right, you can interact international communities to come and engage with you. And together, it's more about knowledge sharing, right? Once you start funding, you get the right knowledge, and then you can start building up your internal talent capabilities. So I think that would be a good way to go about these international collaborations. But yeah, feel free to follow up if you ever want to talk more about this. We are working on it as well. We'd love to explore how Wiser can contribute towards this, how we can help with you, or even work with you, right, for that matter. So yeah, definitely follow up.
Thank you, Vardaan. Have another question. How do you envision collaboration between WISER and local networks such as Qubit Hub or other student-led initiatives to strengthen the talent pipeline in the region?
Yeah, so there are, we are open
Mhm.
to all ideas, right? You tell us what you want us to do. So, for example, if we could start with small collaborations, right? Like giving this kind of knowledge and career advice to students in these kind of Qubit Hub led webinars and conferences and stuff. If you're ever planning of organizing something more in person, we can do that as well. We actually have researchers joining in from Latin America countries. We have had two really really amazing researchers coming in from Mexico. One of them is currently working in IBM, a quantum research team in the US. So we have had a lot of talent come in from these countries, and that is why I feel that we'd be very happy to give back to the society. We will be very happy to see a lot of these researchers come from these communities. So it's a question for you, right? You tell us what you want from us, and we'll find a way to make it happen. And so yeah.
Thank you. And have another question. From your experience leading the Quantum Solutions Launchpad, what advice would you give to Latin American startups or researchers looking to move from academic researchers to practical quantum solutions?
That is a very good question. So whoever asked that, thank you for asking it. This is a very common bottleneck which a lot of researchers just get stuck into, right? You come from academic backgrounds where you already know what you want to do. You have a good knowledge of research. You spend a lot of time reading papers, writing papers, publishing, going to conferences and stuff. That's all very good. I'm not denying that. The problem comes when when you get stuck in that cycle, right? When you read papers, you publish papers. You read more papers, you publish more papers, and so on. You never work on actually translating that research to actual problems. And for that, the first step I would ask you is that try to communicate with industry end users, right? People who are actually going to use that solution, not people who are middlemen over here, right? Not consulting agencies, not people who are building these solutions, the end users, right? The final customers who are actually using these solutions, and get an idea of what would be the perfect solution from them. Because from there, you can actually get a very good sense of what you actually want to build. The second problem I also see over here is that even if you have a good idea of the application, many researchers don't really know how to commercialize that product, and that's totally okay. You need not know everything, right? There are specialists, people coming in from management degrees, from business administration, from different kind of backgrounds who can help you out of there. So don't be afraid to ask for help. If you are at a stage where you have a product ready, where you have a solution ready, try to talk to people who can help you commercialize that technology, who can actually build a product, take it to market, get a profit out of it. Because that's the end goal, right? If you have the world's best technology and it's just sitting at your home, sitting in your garage, not actually helping the society, then it's of no use. So try to ask for help, try to connect with the right people who can help you to get to that stage. And I feel that would be my 2 cents of advice over here. But again, if there's anything where we can help you out, yeah, feel free to email me, and I can point you to the right direction.
Thank you, Vernon. And we have some question in the chat. Having worked with startups and Fortune 500 companies, what lessons have you learned about fostering a quantum ready mindset within organization?
Again, a very good question. I love the audience over here. Uh, so I think it's less about the mindset itself about quantum. It's more about a mindset in terms of risk taking, right? So I feel that once you hear about a new technology, right, there would be two type of people, one or maybe three type of people, right? The first ones would be who are immediately critic of that technology. Okay, yeah, this is not possible. I'll just step back, right? I don't see this coming possible. So stay away from those folks. The second kind of people I would see is who are aware of the technology, but they actually want to see proof of that. So these are, I would say, the maximum number of people are in this middle portion where they see that, okay, I see value in quantum, but I don't want to take a risk, right? Let's just wait. Let someone else actually have a product in the market. Let's actually see how the US does this research. And once we already have that ready, then we'll start adopting. Right? That's something which I hear the maximum amount of times. That should change. And the best people I find is ones who are risk takers, who actually want to be the forefront of technologies. And we work with a lot of these amazing people. And I love talking to them. I love learning from them because these are the ones who actually say that, yeah, quantum is tough. We have a lot of challenges. It's not going to be a piece of cake, but that's actually the problem I want to work on. I love challenges because if I try and solve that one, I would be the first one to make that happen. I will get the maximum benefits out of it because it will be my patent, my paper, everyone will be using. Right. So it's more of a mindset about risk taking and ability to understand that, okay, there is a huge risk. There's also a huge reward. How can I balance them? What's the trade-off over there? So try to think in that way. And maybe you can convince your leadership and the right decision makers come to that stage where everyone wants to build stuff right from scratch. They are no longer dependent on other agencies to build it for them. And I think that pathway would lead to success. So to answer your question, I feel that most companies which are doing quantum today or are at least exploring quantum today, they have that one champion in their organization who is saying that, yes, I realize the risk, but I also realize the reward with it. So I'm ready to take that risk. I'm ready to invest into quantum. I'm ready to do a lot of difficult challenges. I'll solve those problems. I'll do the research because the end goal is far bigger than what we are thinking of right now. So I feel that there's still a lot to be done over here.
Thank you, Vardaan. I think you respond this answer before, but I do. In Mexico, Q-Interpreter Composer, which is a startup here in Mexico, it's a possibility of collaboration or funding this startup with us.
Sure. Yeah, reach out. Tell us more about it, right? Like, what are you building? What are you doing? We'd love to hear more about you, right? So, yeah, we'd love to talk to you more about this. So, absolutely, reach out to us.
Thank you. Another final question. What message would you like to leave with young researchers in Mexico and Latin America who dream of contributing to the quantum revolution?
One message. Okay, this is a tough question. Um, I would say try to collaborate as much as possible. Don't wait for anyone. Try to bring your friends into it. Try to work with your professors. Try to work with researchers who are at your colleges, at your universities, because working together will give you a very, very good and a very fast reality check on what is possible, what is not possible, right? And if you find good people to work with, it would go a very long journey. So I feel that just collaborating together, yeah, is a good advice I can share. So, yeah.
Thank you really much, Vardhan, for your excellent talk and your presentation, all your advice you give it us. Very useful. And I hope we talk again for the collaboration with Q Interpreter.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Arturo. Thank you, everyone, for inviting me over here. I'll take your leave over here. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you very much for all.